Let's see if it still works. Hello again. So let's get on with CPU die lapping this time. And I can release the CPU, can I?
Yes.
Do I remember how to do it? So I press here and then move it up.
Up.
And up, like that. Is that okay? Can I pick it up?
Yes.
It's good. Is it gonna be hot?
I don't know. Should be a little bit. IHS first.
Oh. So let's use some baby wipes, as they're the best for cleaning anything, really. Pick up the IHS and clean it a little bit. Let's have a look. You will notice that since our last video, the IHS is nicely polished. It's got nice luster with that was achieved with a thermal paste, polishing paste. Okay, nice and clean, both sides. So we will try to go down by 0.2 millimeters. So with both IHS and the CPU. So let's begin. We will start with the IHS. Let's put it inside the Nlap. We decided to take it down by 0.2 millimeters, so we have to achieve roughly the same result, just one line down on both sides. This is 600. At this point, we did not know that our lapping technique, the hand movement, was incorrect. This will later result with rounded corners of the Nlap. You can see now we put copper on each side. So the measurements are roughly 9, 0.09, 10 and a half, 0.10 and 0.10 as well. Incorrect lapping technique has caused rounded corners. So this is very interesting. You can see that we are on the edge. And again, you can clearly see the issue with the rounded corners here. So we had to switch to new 600 paper because the other one was really worn. And water. Let's keep going. Check out how long it took me to get rid of the last part of that line. And the next one had not even started lapping yet. Now you can see for the first time that the new line has started lapping. And now, because I did not have reference for so long, the level is a little bit off, but it can easily be corrected.
More moments later.
Okay, so you can see that now we've got around 7 and 7 again, 9 here and 6. So we have roughly removed 0.2 of the IHS from the starting point. Finally, let's get on with the die lapping. That's all nicely cleaned now from the thermal paste. Let's begin lapping. We will start with 400 grit because we need to get to our reference surface, and you can see that there is a little bit of way until we get there. So pretty quickly, let's just lap the Nlap Die, get to the CPU surface. So let's begin. We have reviewed our lapping technique and movement. As it turns out, the best way to do the lapping, as we reviewed our technique, is to move it up and down, but you have to make sure that the writing, the Nlap Die, is facing you and it is the right way up, really. Eventually you can turn it 180 degrees and also move it up and down. That way you will avoid what has actually happened on the previous on the IHS, that one corner has been sort of rounded up. 3 corners, not one.
W ten sposób, że robię to. Która żona by ci tak robiła? Powiedz mi! Ty kochana jesteś.
We are very close, as you can see. There are actually already like 5 or 6 lines, scratch lines on the die. So let's switch to 400 now, as we're getting really close.
600.
So let's turn.
Switch.
So let's switch to 600 now, as we are getting really close. Roughly 0.07 of that line.
No, połóż tam, pokaż pod kilometrami to.
You can begin to see that the die has lost in the middle luster. It's beginning to look a bit matte. It would suggest that the die is actually convex because the center started to lap first. It's quite interesting.
Okay. So this can be our starting point, actually.
It's quite easy to determine, as we've got just 2 lines left each side and none of them started to disappear in the middle yet. So we know we have 0.4 of the height to get down. So we will go 0.2 first. can see that almost the whole surface of the die is matte now. And we went through 0.0333 more here, 0.4. Okay, let's continue.
Use whole surface of the paper.
You can see on the paper where the die is lapping.
Black marks, yes.
So what's that? Silicone?
Yes.
So you can see that the first line is nearly gone, but quite actually a lot left on that side and on that side. So let's try to get this even.
I have deformed Nlap, what has caused an even lapping of the measuring lines.
I think I'm happy with that. Let's let you have a look. We've lapped 0.2 millimeters of the die surface. To assure the proper contact between IHS and the die, we need a very small gap between IHS and PCB. So we think that when the height is correct, the piece of a normal printing paper, like 80 grams, should fit really tightly between the IHS and the PCB. At the moment, once I'm pressing in the middle, it's still a little bit loose. Therefore, we'll lap the IHS a little bit more to make sure it sits a little bit better, closer to the PCB. So let's lap 0.05.
You're spending this time with your husband? Ah, okay. That's the problem.
At least I've got my gin.
20 minutes later.
Let's check again the gap. Just biting. And when we remove the papers, you can still see that there's a little bit of a gap present.
Okay.
We need to thoroughly clean the die. So you can first clean it in water, and then if you have some rubbing alcohol, just drop it there.
That's enough.
So let's put it together again. We are actually using MX4 at the moment, not the liquid metal, because that's what was there before.
Okay. No wyższych ośrodków, nie nic więcej nie powiem.
Good thing to do is to move it a little bit to check if there is anything what could like be a sand or some particles. If it runs nice and flat,
Feels
smooth. Yep.
And that the thermal paste is actually holding it.
Okay.
So let's look it.
Great. Like make a cross. Not very. No. Less than that. Okay. You have to connect two wires.
Right.
We were doing amazing, very professional, profound tests of our newly lapped CPU. And we decided to push it just a little bit more.
So let's lap our CPU just a little bit more. Oops. I know it hurts. I need my Nlap.
Okay.
Blue tack. Baby's waking up. So the plan is to remove the very last line on the Nlap, which will take the die 0.2 millimeter down. Here we go. We are, by the way, at 600. So our baby is fine, as you can see, and we have just become parents of the year.
At this point, we decided that we have done enough lapping for one day.
We are beginning to lap the PCB, so we're gonna stop at this point and simply test it. That our die, thank you Max, is nearly flush with the PCB. So we work on our IHS a little bit more. You can see that we are beginning to lap the surface here and here, but you can see how uneven the surface of the IHS is. Whew.
Cross. Okay. And big moment.
We know how far we dared to push it. Now it's your turn. Please share with us your results and your feedback.